Hello everyone. After learning the saponification value, the next type of value or the next type of analysis that we try to do for the fatty acids is called as iodine value. Now here we try to understand estimation of iodine value of fats and oils. Now what is the basic objective of determining this iodine value? Iodine value speaks about the unsaturation of the fats and oils. Generally in fats and oils we can see that there is a presence of double bond, single bond, so on and so forth. If there are more number of double bonds, that means the fat is unsaturated. If there are no double bonds, then the fat is saturated. Now fats and oils are a mixture of triglycerides. We have already seen that fats and oils are a mixture of glycerol system where they are converted to their respective esters. Now triglycerides are made up of three fatty acids linked by glycerol by fatty acyl esters. Now R1, R2 and R3 we have already seen those system. Now CH2OH, CHOH and CH2OH is the basic glycerol skeleton on which the fatty acid is present. Now fatty acids are long chain hydrocarbons with carboxylic groups. That means end groups are present at carboxylic acid. Now these carboxylic acids, they are converted into their respective ester. These fatty acids can be classified into saturated or unsaturated based on the number of double bonds present in the fatty acids. Now if there are no double bonds, that means they are saturated system. If there are a presence of double bond systems, that means they are unsaturated system. Saturated fatty acids, they contain only single bond between carbon atoms and tend to be solids at room temperature. That is what we did in our hydrogenation reaction, where we converted the double bond system into single bond system. Unsaturated fatty acids contain double bonds between the carbon atom in addition to the single bonds. Of course, there will be double bonds, but there will also be single bonds present in the fatty acid chain. They are likely to exist as liquids at room temperature. The double bonds present in naturally occurring unsaturated fats are in cis form. So naturally occurring fats will always have cis form of the double bonds. Trans fatty acids are associated with the health problems and cardiovascular diseases. Now we have seen that on the oil packets or the biscuit packets, we see that there are presence of trans fatty acids, when that means they are not good for the health. Now unsaturated fatty acids can be converted into saturated by the process of hydrogenation. We have already seen that in the presence of nickel as the catalyst or platinum as the catalyst, we could convert these double bonds into respective single bonds. Now here we can see in this long chain system, there is a presence of a double bond and also there is a presence of single bond. Now this is an example of an unsaturated fatty acid. There is also a presence of a carboxylic group, and hence this is an example for an unsaturated fatty acid. Depending on the degree of unsaturation, that is depending on the number of double bonds, the fatty acid can combine with oxygen or halogens to form saturated fatty acids. Now across this double bond, either oxygen I can add, that means like an rancidity system, or I can add a system of your halogen systems through which these can be converted into single bond. So it is important to know the extent to which a fatty acid is unsaturated. There are various different methods to understand the number of double bonds present in the system. The most common method is called as iodine value or finding the iodine number. Now what is this iodine value or number? It is the number of grams of iodine consumed by 100 gram of fat. Higher iodine value indicates higher degree of unsaturation. That means if there are more number of double bonds, then iodine value will be more. What is the basic principle of this particular iodine value? Fatty acids react with halogen, now particularly it is iodine, resulting in the addition of halogen at C double bond C at the double bond site. In this reaction, iodine monochloride reacts with unsaturated bonds to form a product, a dihalogenated single bond, of which one carbon has been bound at an atom of has bound an atom of iodine. Now let us take this example. There is a C double bond C. Iodine monochloride is reacting across this double bond. Now this iodine will react across one carbon and chlorine across one carbon. Now across the double bond, iodine monochloride has reacted, through which I have converted the double bond system into its single bond system. So this is the step 1 that happens. After the reaction is complete, the amount of iodine that has reacted is determined by adding a solution of potassium iodide to the reaction product. So what we do is, after the complete reaction to the solution, we add potassium iodide. Now this addition of potassium iodide, it converts iodine monochloride into free iodine, that is I2 system. KCl is released and I2 system. This causes the remaining unreacted iodine monochloride to form a molecular iodine. That means it gives us a molecular iodine. The liberated iodine is then titrated with a standard solution of 0.1 N sodium thiosulfate. Now iodine reacts with sodium thiosulfate to give sodium iodide and sodium dithionate. Now this completion of the reaction can be understood by the addition of starch, which forms a byproduct, or it is going to form a purple color indicator. Once this purple color is faded, that means the end point is reached. Now why that happens? Starch will combine with iodine to give a purple colored complex. This purple color complex will give us the final end point. So what happens is, starch is used as an indicator for this reaction, so that the liberated iodine will react with starch to give purple colored product, and thus the end point can be observed. So what are we trying to understand out of it? Saturated fatty acids will not give the halogenation reaction. If there are just the presence of a single bond system, that means there will not be this type of reaction, that is iodine monochloride cannot react. If the iodine number is between 0 to 70, it will be a fat. That means the system is a fat, and if the value is exceeding 70, then it is an oil. Oil generally will have more number of double bonds, whereas fat will have less number of double bonds. This is what is the indication of this particular number. Generally, if it is a fat, then it is a solid, and the iodine number will lie between 0 to 70. But if the iodine number is more than 70, then it is categorized as an oil, which is liquid at room temperature. So there are some important note which we have to see, that iodine monochloride is caustic, so while handling it should be done with a proper way. For better results, the experiments without any time gap, that means we have to continue the time gap without any type of time gap given in between the reaction, because iodine is susceptible to the oxidation by light. So let us finally understand what is this iodine value. It is nothing but number of grams of iodine that combine with 100 gram of oil or fat. It is determined by treating a known amount of fat or oil in carbon tetrachloride solution with excess of With solution. With solution is nothing but iodine monochloride, and titrating the unused iodine with standard hypo solution. What is this hypo solution? 0.1 N sodium thiosulfate as usual. The iodine value is a measure of unsaturated or the saturated system of the fat or oil, and thus it allows its classification into non-drying oils, drying oils and semi-drying oils. For non-drying oils, example olive oil, iodine number is less than 100. For drying oils, example linseed oil, the iodine number is more than 130. For semi-drying oils, example cottonseed oil, the iodine number is between 100 to 130. So these numbers, they speak about the unsaturation present in the system. The next concept or the next type of estimation with the oils and fats that we try to understand is called as estimation of acid value of oil. Now here what we try to understand is the amount of carboxylic group present in the particular fatty acid. To calculate the number of milligrams of potassium hydroxide, because fatty acid is going to have carboxylic groups, hence we try to understand that how much amount of KOH has been consumed which is required to neutralize the free fatty acid in 5 gram of oil. So what we try to understand, what are the amount of free fatty acid groups present in a 5 gram of oil. So what does an acid value indicate? Acid value indicates the proportion of free fatty acid present in an oil or fat and may be defined as number of milligram of caustic potash required to neutralize the acid in 1 gram of the sample. So how much amount of KOH is required to neutralize 1 gram of the sample is given by the acid value. The normal acid value of most of the fatty acids will lie between 0.5. If any titrable acid other than fatty acid is present in the sample, that means if any other type of carboxylic acid is present as an impurity, it will cause an error. So the sample should be a pure sample to understand the amount of free fatty acids present. A high acid value indicates a stale oil or a fat stored under improper condition. That means high acid value is generally seen that the compound has already become completely rancid. We have already seen the mechanism of rancidity. Rancidity is nothing but it is going to give me bad smelling or bad odor aldehyde or carboxylic systems. So what is the procedure? Firstly, we try to standardize KOH. What we do is we take 20 ml of 0.1 oxalic acid solution into 50 ml conical flask. 1 to 2 drops of phenolphthalein is added as an indicator. This solution is titrated against KOH in the burette. The appearance of the pink color indicates the end point. From the volume of KOH solution in burette, we find the normality of KOH. First, we always do the standardization of the caustic potash, or it is called as KOH. What we do in an experimental procedure, weigh 5 gram of oil and transfer it into 250 ml conical flask. Then 50 ml of neutralized alcohol solution is added to the oil solution. What we do is we cannot add any kind of alcohol. We need to neutralize the solution. That means alcohol might contain some amount of acidic content. So what we do is we add K2CO3 to the system and then we neutralize the alcohol, and then that particular neutralized alcohol is added to the oil solution. Now why we do this is to dissolve the component. Then this mixture is heated for 10 minutes by using the heater. Then take the solution after 10 minutes and add 1-2 drops of phenolphthalein indicator. We titrate it against the KOH solution from the burette. The appearance of the pink color indicates the end point. So as we have done in the previous procedure, here also we do the same system. How do we calculate? So first is we always try to understand the standardization of potassium hydroxide. So burette will have KOH solution, pipette out oxalic acid, indicator is phenolphthalein, end point is appearance of pink color. So what we do is we make use of N1V1 is equal to N2V2 and we try to calculate the normality of KOH solution. That you must have already done in your physical chemistry classes, that we make use of N1V1 is equal to N2V2 and try to understand the normality of the unknown solution. Now the step number 2 is titration 2. Estimation of the acid value. In the burette what we will have KOH. In the pipette, oil plus 50 ml of neutralized alcohol. Indicator is again phenolphthalein, end point is appearance of a pink color. So acid value is nothing but volume of KOH, that means from what volume is taken from the burette into normality of KOH into equivalent weight into 1000, equivalent weight of the KOH divided by weight of the sample. This is going to give me the acid value. The acid value of the given oil sample was found to be, we record it in this way. So what is this acid value? It is the number of milligrams of KOH required to neutralize the free fatty acids in 1 gram of the oil or fat. The acid value of fat is determined by dissolving a weighed amount of fat in alcohol and then titrating the solution against standard alkali solution. That is, this alkali solution is nothing but KOH. using phenolphthalein as an indicator. What does an high acid value may be expected? If it is an high acid value, that means the fat is rancid. That means it is stored under very improper conditions and it is not good for consumption. So acid value is done to understand whether the component that is given to us is fit for human consumption or no. Thank you.